I'm a hat person now, so yeah. I'm back in this room where the audio quality is terrible to bring you a video that I feel is very important to bring you. It's my top 16 of 2016. Woo! Yeah, my first Transformers really review video was a top 13 of 2013, which I did 3 years ago. So to kind of bring it all around full circle, 3-year kind of anniversary kind of thing, I'm going to do the same for 2016, which was last year now. Time flies. But I was originally going to shoot this half and half at home because I was home for the holidays, and half here because my the figures that I had gotten in 2016 were split among the two. Here's evidence of that. Which means I have to shoot 2 different locations, 2 different times, which is going to be just great. But then I just decided, you know, why bother? Why can't I just take all the figures at home here to the dorm? So that's kind of what I did. My collection here is rather large. I'm going to try to do this with as few cuts and as possible. Try to get this done pretty darn quickly. But here's my hashtag TF16 of 2016. At number 16 we have Deluxe Class Combiner Wars Brawl. Now, you know, everything on paper should work with this guy, but it doesn't quite work super well. I mean, he's very nicely detailed, he looks pretty good, but he doesn't function that well. The mid-drift is all void and it doesn't click together, but there's a lot of really nice molded detail, and he looks nice, especially in tank mode when he's all compact, but engineering-wise, he just doesn't play well. Number 15 is Voyager Class Combiner Wars Sky Lynx. Yeah, there's the guy, and he's pretty darn cool, I have to say. I do enjoy the look of him. I really do enjoy the design. I've always been kind of a fan of Sky Lynx because the top half of Sky Lynx is the second ever G1 figure I ever got. So I really like the look of it. I like the feel. It's just, you know, his feet are a bit wobbly. There's only the one mode. He doesn't detach, but he's pretty cool. I like everything about him except for the floppy feet and the fact that there's no straight up disc combination mode. But what are you going to do? At number 14, we have Deluxe Class Titans Return Scourge. This guy is a hoot and a half, I'd have to say. I really love the face, the mustache he got on there. And I love the boat mode, the spaceship mode, or whatever it is. I just feel it's a bit too blue, and his head's all wobbly. But, you know, he's pretty good fun, and, you know, I really do love the Titan Master gimmick, the whole line-wide play pattern. Number 13 is Titans Return Deluxe Skull Cruncher. And this guy is a pretty nice gator, crocodile, or whatever he is. I really do love the articulated head in this crocodile mode. And while the robot looks a bit generic, I do love this gator mode, even though it's not very articulate. And this was my introduction to the Titans Return line, my introduction to the whole Headmaster gimmick. Growing up, I came in after G1 and I came in after Headmasters. The closest thing I got to a Headmaster was Omega Supreme from Energon, and I thought he was really cool, and I wish that I had more like that. Well, now I have a whole line of play pattern with it, and this is the guy that introduced me to him. And he's a pretty good gator, too. At number 12 and 11, I have Deluxe Titans Return Blur and Deluxe Titans Return Brainstorm, respectively. Now, I really do love this mold. I think that it has about everything you can ask for in a Deluxe Class mold these days. Waist articulation, great articulation all around. The heads are solid in the Headmaster mode. The only problem I have with Blur is that the experience I got when I first got him was, you know, the fin bit that's supposed to flip up in car mode was missing from the box, and I tried to call Hasbro customer service, and they couldn't really help me. They sent me coupons that didn't really work well, so that kind of tarnished my experience with this guy. I imagine if that experience wasn't there, this would be higher than Brainstorm. because I wish this guy looked a little more brainstormy. He feels a bit too much like Blur, but either case, I love the mold, and these deserve to be in my 12 and 11 or whatever it was. Now we've reached the top 10, and the last few figures were pretty good in my book, so anything above here has to be pretty darn cool to make it this high on the list. It got harder and harder to choose from here, the order. Number 10 is Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Prowl. I was pleasantly surprised by this guy. I hadn't owned the mold before, but I was expecting it to feel kind of remoldy, and I wasn't expecting anything spectacular out of the mold. It seemed very basic. But I was surprised. It really feels well, and it has a great Prowlian personality. The only problem I have with it as far as functionality goes is this leg panel doesn't clip in. It just kind of flops. But that's a QC issue. Love the head sculpt, love the car mode. It compacts really well. So yeah, pretty darn cool figure if I do say so myself. At number 9, I have Masterpiece Hot Rodimus. Now this guy has a fantastic car mode. I love the look of the car mode. The robot mode wasn't super great, but I still really did enjoy this guy mostly. The transformation's fun. I love the look of the colors. The head sculpt's great. It did break on me in the middle of my review. You can go check that out in the description below if you want to see that breaking. But great car mode. I love the car mode so much that it elevates the figure above its faults for me. At number 8, I have Titans Return Leader Class Blaster. This was my first and only Leader Class purchase of the year. My only other Leader Class experience within the last few years of Transformers was the Generations Leader Class Armada Megatron. And that wasn't super great of a representation of what a leader could be. This is. I really, really do appreciate how this feels and how it transforms. I love all 3 modes. I wish there was a bit more head articulation, but this really reinvigorated my interest in the leader class price point as far as generations go. So that's what makes it really number 8 on my list. Because I have to do them as a pair, number 7 and number 6 respectively are Legion Class Rewind and Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. These guys are so cute together, like literally, like just as a pair, they just work really well. If you read the IDW comics, and More Than Meets the Eye, you'll understand the dynamics between these characters, and I feel that these figures do a great job at representing their G1 counterparts and their IDW counterparts. And they just feel right together. And they're great figures too. Now we're breaking the top 5. It was very hard for me to decide what order these went in. I knew these were top 5, but it was difficult for me to decide what went what. It's very, very close when we get to this part. But really, I think that the final decisions are solid, and I really love all of these 5 figures. At number 5 is Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Swindle. This guy really surprised me. I'd heard good things about him, but just everything about him is pretty darn great in my opinion. He has all of the articulation you could ever ask for in a Deluxe Class figure nowadays. He even has ankle tilts. What Deluxes have ankle tilts nowadays? This guy does. His head sculpt screams personality. There's so many good details on here, and it feels nice and chunky. So I really, really think that this is the best Deluxe Class figure to have come out in recent memory. And at number 4, we have Masterpiece Wheeljack. Now I gave him a relatively lower score than I intended in my original review of this guy, but getting to know him and getting to mess around with him and having him on display, this guy is beautiful and perfect. He was one of my first purchases. He was one of my first purchases of the year, and he really set the bar high. Sure, there are a few paint mistakes and fuzzy paint lines on this guy, but he just looks fantastic and feels fantastic. This is the bar that Masterpiece should meet and exceed. And in many cases it has. In some cases it hasn't, like Rodimus over there. But this guy is just a pure joy, and he has the perfect personality. He feels realistic, but he feels cartoon. He feels G1. He feels Wheeljack. And that's what I look for in my Masterpiece figures. And that's what makes him a number 4 on my list. And speaking of Masterpiece, number 3 is Masterpiece B. My goodness, this is such a lovely little guy. I never was really the biggest fan of Bumblebee in G1 or movie alike. But this little guy has so much character. And yeah, I know that technically the car mode is supposed to be bigger. And I know that, you know, the robot mode should technically be bigger if the car mode was in scale. But I think this is one of the cases where they scaled to robot mode, not to vehicle mode. And it's adorable. The face is great. The face swap is great. The transformation is superb. I just really, really enjoy this guy. Number 2 is going to be my next review. Hopefully, if I edit it and put it up in time. It's Titan's Return, Titan Class, Fortress Maximus. This guy is a behemoth, and I love it in every possible way. It's the centerpiece of the Titan's Return play pattern with its base mode and all the little Titan pegs that you can do your Titan Masters on. It's a double headmaster, which is just so great. And I just love this guy. He fixes all the problems that I have with Metroplex, making him a damn near perfect Titan class figure. He has great articulation. His knee joints are solid. All of his ratchets are solid. And he just has that personality. He looks great, he feels great, and he's massive. I feel like I got my $150 worth out of this guy. Which sometimes is difficult to say when it comes to Transformers. But this guy feels big, beefy, and worth it. Yeah, the one you've all been waiting for. Number 1 purchase that I've made this past year, 2016, is, drumroll please, Jim and Editing. Yeah, you probably guessed it. Yeah, it's Masterpiece Shockwave. My goodness, this guy is just a complete hoot. Multiple hoots. All the hoots. He's in cahoots to win my heart. It just looks so animation accurate, and it feels so Shockwave. It's purple, the yellow eye that always seems to catch light super well, the glowing cannon arm. It works on a level for me that no other figure has worked for me. Sure, there are flaws. Sure, there are probably a flaw or two more than some other figures on this list. But for me, personally, as far as favorites go, this guy just takes the cake, and he eats it too. My desk is all messy now. I'm going to have to clean it. Rambling aside, that was my top 16 of 2016, and that's about all the figures I purchased. Excluding a couple of the Titan Masters individually. That's about all of the actual figures that I purchased this year. So I got lucky there. Whew. If I hadn't, then I would have had to subdivide into like Cerebros and the Titan Masters themselves, and that would have just been messy. Now it's time to cut this 20 minutes into maybe a more digestible 15 minutes or so. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully I can get my next review to you guys soon. It's been busy, it's been hectic. I've been home for the holidays. I'm now back at school, and I might start having time to do videos again. Maybe we'll see. Bye.